G'day guys, welcome back. I'm doing some late night resining. Wasn't going to do anything after work tonight, but I wanted to have another go with this plate. So I thought, I'll just do it, try it again. So you know how I did this one, the platter, whatever you want to call it, with the silver and the blue. So going along these lines again, but I'm going to do my Christmas colors, which is red, white and silver. So instead of mixing up my glitter with polyacrylic and sort of painting it on, I am just going to see if this works. If I'm just going to dip a dry brush into my fine glitter, and I am just going to brush it in there along the edge. I did the rest because I thought I want to see if it works first, and also you don't need to watch me do the whole thing. But basically I'm just lifting it up like that, brushing it in there. It's actually sticking, and I'm kind of doing up the side there a little bit as well. Doesn't want to stick up the side as well, but I'll have a go. I've got it on my turntable, so it's really nice and easy to control, to turn around. So pop it in there. I'm just not sure whether or not the glitter is going to stay there or whether it's going to float to the top. Maybe a little bit will float. I'm hoping that the majority of it will just stay in there. And I'm not going to get like a very thick coating, I don't think, like that. I'll probably just get a little bit of silver, which is okay too. All right, so that's done. This is just a fine glitter that I got from eBay. It's just a silver glitter, nothing special. I'm just using a little makeup brush. So that's there. Look, I've made a mess. Now, to get all the other glitter off that I don't want, I'm just going to use my little bit of tape to get it off there. You probably can't see, but just to get it off the actual base of the mold, because I don't mind it going down the side, and I don't mind it, you know, in the groove there. I just don't really want it on top, but it may float anyway and go everywhere. So that's the silver around the edge. I'm going to use the same silver for my little center, it all coming off on the tape, and I'll put that in a little bit of resin. I'm using the Platinum Ultra Clear resin. It has a work time of about 45 minutes. So for me, that's a guide as to when to actually start piping, and I'm going to do the 3D flower on this. So for me, if my resin has a 45-minute work time, that's when I like to start piping, around the 45-minute time, or maybe a little bit more. But you know, when it starts to thicken up a little bit and it becomes like the acrylic pouring, it's like a mound on a mound. So that's the kind of consistency that I'm looking for. So make sure I get as much of that off as I can. And I might as well pick this up as well, because I've made a mess. So I've got my resin. I made it up in the jug, and then I poured half in there and half in there, just so it's not very deep, because I don't want it flash curing. So it's just sitting there in two containers. That way it's not that deep, you know, if you're doing a larger amount of resin. Because I've got 350 grams of resin. And what else can I tell you? Actually, I'll put a little bit of the glitter in here, because that's going to be my center. I don't need a lot, but I thought I might as well use the same glitter. I don't need a lot. Don't want a huge center in there. And I don't know. I don't know if I want to do the same there. I don't know. I probably won't end up being anything like that, because I'm going to do the petals. So that's my silver. I've got my cup with the piping bag in for my white. My red. It was really hard finding a red, but I've got this one. Truly Red. And I'm pretty sure that's from Actually, no, I can't. I better not say because I can't remember where it's from. There's no name on it. Truly Red. Number 086-R for Robert. I don't know. I can't remember where it's from. It could well be a sample from, look at that, from Resin, because Susanna does send me a lot of samples. So I'm just going to put a little bit on there, about a pea size in there. I don't want to make it too opaque. Isn't it a gorgeous red though? I mean, like if you're going to get a red, that's it. Susanna, if you're watching, is that yours? Can you tell me? And then, because to me it doesn't look as if it's a very shiny, it looks quite matte. So I want to put some glitter in it. From Resin, some glitter. Look at that. It's got a slightly darker hue to it, but it's also got some lighter red shimmer in there as well. So I'm going to pop a little bit of that in. Maybe just like it's one of those little teaspoons, a little, just a level little teaspoon of that. It's really pretty. So I thought those two would look nice together. So that's those. I'll get that out of the way for a minute. So that's going to be my, it's going to be my outside. I'm going to pour that. So I don't need a lot. I'm going to pour it down into the groove there. And it will kind of float up a little bit and just hopefully just come to the edge there. And then I'll pour my clear on. I'll put my silver center in, and then I'll pipe my flour. Ooh, it's a gritty noise, isn't it? Right, and then for my white, I'm just talking to you while I'm waiting for my resin to warm up. I want it to get to about 50 degrees Celsius. My white, I've got the Cast and Craft, and I've got my Pinata white alcohol ink. All right, let's test it again. Take its little temperature. So I'm wanting it to get to about 50 degrees. 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. Slowing down now, isn't it? 39. Don't stick your finger in to see if it's warm, okay? It's resin, don't stick your finger in it. All right, so it's slowing down. 41. All right, I'm going to check it again. I'm going to put you on pause, and I'm going to come back and check it in. I'm just going to clean that edge off with some alcohol on my baby wipe. Make sure it's nice and clean. All right, what's the time? 40. Right, the resin has been sitting for 40 minutes. So I'm going to test it again in another 5 minutes, all right? I'll be back. What's the time? It's 5 to 9 p.m. It's very late for me to be resining. So I'm going to check it again at 9 o'clock and see what it is. So, but everything's ready to go now. Yeah, pretty ready. See you soon. All right, it is 10 past 9. So in 5 minutes, it will be an hour. There we go, 50. Oh, we've gone over 50. Right, so let's get a wriggle on and get started. Let's clean that resin off. Get my gloves on. Now it'll be a mad rush before it all sets up. No, it should be fine. Now I am going to put some resin in here. I'm just going to do like half a cup because I'm not quite sure exactly how much I need. Now this one is going to be for my white, so that's going to sit there. I'm going to do 40 grams. So that's just under 1.5 ounces. There we go, 40, well 42, but it won't matter. So that's for my white. And then I just need a little drizzle in here for my glitter center. Just want to make that into a paste, like so. Perfect. So you don't need a lot. Now let's see if we're going to get a mound. I like to get a mound on a mound. Not yet. No, not yet. That's okay. Now, let's stir this red and see what we're going to get, hey? Hopefully I've got enough time to get this done before the resin starts to turn to jelly, because I did that once. Well, I've done it more than once, you know, seeing how far I can push a colour. All right, that needs a little bit more, a little bit on the transparent side. Do another little tiny scoop. I don't think I've ever used this red before, so I've got it all over my gloves now though. It's perfect colour for my Christmas tree and my Christmas table setting. It would be perfect for lollies, like, you know, wrapped lollies, sweets, chocolates, things like that on your Christmas table. Okay, there we go. Still a little bit on the transparent side, but let's just do this. I'm going to pour that in. Just going to try and get it around the edge. And the good thing about having the turntable is I can turn it. I just want to get that to go down into the sides there. It's looking more like a, whoops, it's looking more like a cherry actually. The glitter's kind of changed it from being that dark red, or the red that I wanted, the bright fire engine red, to more of a ruby. Ah, well. Never mind. That just means I get to do it again. Actually, what about if I put a little bit more resin in and just use this. See if I can mix the two together. I didn't realize, like in the cup, it didn't look as if it was going to go that sort of ruby color, but obviously the glitter has changed the color of it. Oops, what's that? There's something in there. Get out. Okay, let's try that again. I'll just put a little bit in there now, because it's just going to be a little bit to share around. Love using this turntable, makes it so much easier. Still a bit of a reddish. It's still like a more of a pinky hue, but never mind, never mind, never mind. All right, so I've got my resin in there for my white. Let's pour the rest of this in before I lose it, before it goes bad. But see, as soon as it goes into the mold, it'll start cooling down. Probably should have done that earlier actually, but I couldn't really, could I? I was mixing my colours. Okay, so that's that one done. And let's give it a bit of a torch. Now with my white, I want to put in 5 drops of Cast and Craft. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It kind of leaves a bit of a train. Actually, let's do 6, because I would do 5 if I had 30 grams, and I've got 40 grams. We'll do 6, and then we'll do half the amount of the alcohol ink, so 3. I hope I haven't left it too late now. 1, 2, 3. Because I did a little practice the other day, and I didn't leave it long enough. Oh, I think I put the video up anyway, just to show you. But I didn't leave it long enough, and the resin was still too thin, and it all kind of, my white all kind of sank to the bottom. So that still feels alright. It feels warm, but like it's not burning me. When I did it the other day, it was literally burning me. So I thought, no, this is no good. And then it just all seized up on me. I don't know if you can see, but it is leaving like a little mound now. Little mound on a mound, just a little one. You know when you go to the beach and you get that wet sand and you make little castles like that? It's like a little wriggle like that, a little wriggle of sand. All right, let's put the silver in. I like this because see the rings? The rings are on the other side of the mold and they're holding the mold up because it's not a solid mold. Like it hasn't got a solid base. You can see how thick that is now. So it's good though because I can actually see where the center is. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pipe just rings. I find I don't get the blobs that way because if you do petals, I find if I do petals, you go up and then you come down and then you go back up again from the same area. So this area here gets double the amount. So it tends to get a bit blobby. I don't know if I want to put a star on that or just leave it. I think I'll just leave it. How's my red looking? Is it moving very much? Kind of hoping that, you know, the red will come in around the outside a little bit and just frame that plate. Kind of like that blue one did. It just sort of comes in around the outside. I may not have put enough around there for it to do that, but we shall see. See what happens. All right, now I need a piece of paper towel. A little mess happening there next to me. That can sit there. The resin's still okay. It hasn't started to gel, so that's a good thing. And it is coming up to 20 past. Almost 20 past 9. All right, here we go. I'm going to snip the end. It's about 5 millimeters. And get the scissors off me. So if you hold it horizontally, drip 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Let's start again. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's dropping on 3. I don't know if that's any use to you, but anyway, it's not just dripping out real fast. All right, so I'm going to follow the lines that are there, and then I'll do one like in between as well. So here we go. I'm going to go around here. Oops, hang on. What's that? I'll try and get a relatively thick line. I think my hole might be a little bit small. I'm having to push quite hard to get the thick ring that I want. So I probably should have made my hole a little bit bigger. See, it's going like a wriggle. If you want to get a bit closer, it's not doing that. Okay, there we go. Let's just fill this in. All right, so I didn't use up all that white. I'll actually go on and just make it a little bit thicker because I've still got some resin left. Just use up everything that I've got because I just felt that my lines weren't quite thick enough. Just going to wind that back down. So that was 40 grams of resin. With the 6 drops of Cast and Craft. Now I'm using this instead of a stick. I'm using this. It's a little silicone stick thing. I don't know what it's called. So I'm going to use that for my lines. All right, here we go. I'm going to go in. So it doesn't matter if it touches the bottom because it's not going to scratch because it's silicone. Hope this works. I really pushed it to the limit this time. Now I'm going to go the opposite way. You guys have seen us do this. I've done this before. Other artists have done this. As well, just to get a pretty little pattern. What am I up to? This one. Okay, I think that's it. Yay! I want to go through them again. No, that'll be all right. No, I'm not going to swirl it. I like it the way it is. I'm not going to swirl it. All right, so that's it. Now the next thing I want to do is just with my heat gun. I can't get my nozzle off. It's stuck. I seriously can't get it off. I'm just going to give it a quick little torch to get the bubbles out, and then just to sort of push. Just want to push that resin from the outside in. Don't get your heat gun in the resin, just push from the outside in. It's pretty thick, it's not moving very much, so hopefully it's still going to work. I'm a little bit concerned, but last year when I was doing these, I did it at 50 degrees and it was fine, it worked. So all right, that's it. I'm not going to do any more because, as I have said previously, you have waited like an hour. I waited an hour for it to get to 50 degrees to thicken, so that the white would not fall through. So the last thing you want to do is overheat your resin, and then it goes all thin again and the white falls through. So it's a fine line. Now we just have to wait and see what's going to happen. Cross your fingers for me. We'll see what happens. I'm looking at it. The outside is blooming. It is moving. The thicker the resin, the slower everything's going to move. And then, of course, the thinner the resin, it basically just falls straight through. So it is really trial and error, just working out what works for you. That's why I keep a diary. So I've written down that I've let it get to 50 degrees and then I started. So I piped it an hour, didn't I? An hour. All right, I'll just get my gloves off. Actually, before I'm going to do that, just bear with me. I'm just going to, while my gloves on, I'm just going to wipe this out. Otherwise, it's harder to do afterwards. I'm just going to clean everything. So you can pause the video, go get yourself a cuppa or something. I'm just going to clean up while I've got my gloves on, okay? So just bear with me. I know it's not much fun, but it needs to be done. And I'd rather do it now while my gloves are on and throw everything out. And then take my gloves off, and then I'm nice and safe, and I haven't got a chance of getting any resin on myself, okay? So that's what we do for safety. So I will be right there. There we go. Everything's been thrown out. All right, let's go down and have a little look. It's really not the red I was after, is it? It's more of a cherry, but never mind. Oh my gosh. All right, let's have a look. So we've got a little bit of movement. I'm not sure if we're going to get a lot of movement. Got a lot of gaps there in between. Is that a bubble? There's a few bubbles there. So anyway, I'll come back in about half an hour and just see what it's doing. If it doesn't do much, that's fine by me. I will probably put just like a maybe get my red alcohol ink and just put a very thin coat on the background so that when you do turn it over, you've got this beautiful, you know, red background for the white flowers to sort of stand out on. But yeah, we'll see. I do think that maybe I've left it just a touch too long and it's not going to bloom. But we'll see. I'll be back in half an hour. Wish me luck. So it's been about half an hour. Or actually more like 40 minutes. The outer lines have bloomed nicely, but then the inner ones, they haven't really moved that much. So I've got the big gaps there. So I think what I'll do, I don't know if I want to sort of put any more resin onto it. I might just unmold it and see what it looks like tomorrow and then try again rather than putting more resin onto it. When I was doing these last year, I was doing smaller pieces, so I was only mixing up like a half a cup of resin, whereas on this one I did like 1.5 cups of resin. So I'm using a lot more resin, which means it's getting a lot hotter in its container. So when it got to 50, I'm just going through my thought process here with you. Hopefully you can sort of understand as well. When it got to 50 degrees, and that's when I started mixing up my red and my glitter and all that. In the meantime, the resin was getting hotter and hotter in the jug. So I think what I need to do is start at 40, 47, 45, something like that degrees, because it's a bigger jug. So anyway, I will unmold it tomorrow. I just wish it would have continued to do that. See, it's looking really pretty up there, but then further down here it hasn't done as much. So yeah, anyway, live and learn. It's still really pretty. I really like the design. So yeah, I'll unmold it tomorrow before work, and we'll try again. So see you tomorrow. I'm off to bed. Hey guys, I'm back. It's the next day. All set up. Now, as you can see, it hasn't filled in all the way. The outer edges have bloomed a lot more than the inner edges there, or inner petals. So I was kind of debating whether or not to even put this video up, but I'll get it out anyway and we'll see what it looks like. So I definitely want to do it again. And yeah, not leave the resin quite so long this time. I think it just got hot in the jug. All right, let's get him out. I guess I could always put it back in and do a top coat, but it might not go back in the way it came out, hey? Oh, it's a bit bendy still. This resin does take a lot longer to set up. Now, because I haven't filled it right up to the top there, but it's quite deep. I don't really want to put that much resin into it. So I've got a little lip there because I haven't filled it up all the way. So you could sand it, but if it's still bendy, you'll have to leave it sitting on that. Otherwise, you know, it might push down like that. So anyway, let's have a little look, hey? Not expecting much. Well, let's have a look at the sides first. Look, there's my silver. That's the silver that I brushed on. What do you think of that? So this is why I thought I'll put the video up anyway, even though, you know, it probably hasn't worked as well as I wanted it to. It still looks pretty. It still worked, just not as well as I wanted. But you can see the silver there. So that was interesting, you know, brushing it on, because I wanted to see if that would work, and it has. So that's a good idea, isn't it? All right, let's flip her over. It seemed very close to the screen. Here we go. Oh, okay. That's better than what I expected, actually. Wow, look at the edges. Oh, well, I'll put it up anyway. Look at the edges. They've really worked. So, you know how resin wants to come from the outside in, so it pulls in a lot more. So when it gets to about here, it hasn't really got very far to go, because up here it's got a long way to go, so it wants to move. But up here, down here, hasn't got that far to go. So yeah, I always get more movement along the edges there. that's not too bad, you guys. I don't feel so bad now. Wow. I wasn't sure what would happen with these ones here, because this top layer, like you can't see it here, very, very faintly. So you can see the outline just there underneath. And I wasn't sure what was going to happen, whether or not you'd actually see the petal on the other side. But you can, look at that. You got just a little bit of red around there. I was thinking about what I was going to do next time. And what I thought I would do, see, I've got a red tablecloth. See, it would still look nice on my red tablecloth or on a red placemat, because you'll be able to see the red through there. But what I was thinking next time, what I wanted to do is do alternating petals, like silver, white, silver, white, silver, white in the rings, and then do red in the center, and still do the red on the outside. But I thought maybe an alcohol ink, so red on the outside, red in the center, and then alternate, put the silver in there. But what do you think? It's still really bendy. Oh my gosh, I'm really actually quite surprised. Right, well there we go, that's it. I'm going to have to leave it sitting like this. No, I'm going to have to leave it sitting like that, so that it can actually dry, set that way. Actually, maybe that not either, because it's got the little lip. Oh, anyway, I'm going to leave it like that. It'll be fine. All right, well, let me know what you think of it. Yeah, I'm quite surprised, really, at what it's turned out to be like. I'll take it outside quickly. Just brought you out into the backyard. Hello, guys. Yes, I know. It's very exciting, isn't it? Yes. This is the dogs area. All right. Hello. Hello. I've just got home from work, and I wanted to go and unmold, so the dogs are a bit excited. All right. Let's have a look what it looks like in the daylight. It's a little bit overcast, and it's starting to get dark. But look at the silver shimmering on the sides. You can pick up that shimmer shimmer. There we go. Yeah, I'm really impressed. So yeah, I'll do it again. I just won't wait quite so long, because my resin in the center there didn't set up. But it's quite a pretty pattern though, isn't it? Like, if you look at it like that, it's quite pretty. What are you guys doing? Hey, I'm trying to make a video here. Who's biting my pants? Hello, Ella. All right, there we go. I'm gonna go and give them all a cuddle. I'll see you guys real soon. Hey, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think of this guy. All right, see you soon. Love you all. Bye for now. Oh, really?